So today, a little break away from the norm, I am doing a question and answer with you. And the reason being is that my garage is not ready. Sorry, the cottage is not ready. And well, it's actually ready, but it's full of like boxes and half-assed furniture, and I want to show it to you properly. And there's a few little bits and hooks and things that I want to hang. So I'm not gonna do that this week, which I was planning to do. And instead, I'm gonna get a right good grilling. That's cute, that's better. Maybe there's your tea. Get yourself so incredibly organised, more organised than you've ever been with anything in your entire life. And make sure, first things first, is you've got a really clear picture of what it's going to look like and stick to it. Obviously, designs will change. They do when you're on site and walls start getting taken down and, you know, surprises always crop up, but you want to have, I call it the design Bible, and it's what you want to start right at the beginning, before a spade goes in the ground. We need to know what this thing's going to look like. So that's really my number one bit of advice. Just get yourself so organised. Know what your budget is. Plan out your budget, like what's going in your house. Look at your floor plans, lay it all out, map it all out, get a great architect to draw this all up for you. If you're not working with an interior designer, get yourself an interior designer if you can and budget allows. But you've got to list out everything that's going in this house, from light switches to sockets to doors to, you know, wall lights to pendants to dining tables. What is it you're buying? What is it that needs to make this house work for you? Put it all in a spreadsheet. Become friends with Excel and just get it down, because don't enter into a project thinking, I've got £250,000, it'll be fine. It will spiral. And also the contractor's not going to know what you want it to look like. So he's going to be like, what's going here, what's going here? Don't expect this renovation to happen without a huge investment of your time. Unless you're going to enrol a project manager, even if you enrol a project manager, he's still going to be on the phone to you every 5 minutes asking what everything is if you haven't got yourself organised. So you're going to need to seriously give yourself time to oversee this renovation and be there for the contractor, be there for the questions, because once walls start going up and getting plastered, lights get pulled through, it's a really costly mistake to have to move it. So planning is everything. 10% contingency on everything. So if you think you've got your budget nailed, add 10%. And the contractor will do the same. So do that for everything, even do it for time. If you want the project to be finished by Christmas, is it going to be finished by Christmas? Don't put such stringent timelines on your project, because a contractor might sometimes say it can be done, but without knowing what you want to do, how's he going to know if it can be done? So give yourself time and just take the pressure off yourself, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. So when a project first starts out, most of it's on the design table. So before the contractors get on site, you're just most of the time around a design table, or you're on a laptop, you're speaking to people on the phone, but there's nothing happening on site. Therefore, you're not really needed on site. You're not really needed at the house at the beginning. When the rip out happens, it's fun to go and see, but again, you're not really going to be there much, because it's all, you know, it's just stuff being taken out. As the project kind of hots up, you're going to want to be there every week. And I would say, depending on how organised you are you ordering everything, or is your contractor ordering everything? If you're ordering everything, you're going to have to check it. So when it arrives, you're going to have to open that box. Is it okay? Is it broken? You've also got to produce schedules for everything. Now, again, become friends with Excel, because You want to produce schedules for doors and ironmongery, for your lighting and electrical, for your sockets and switches, for your panelling plan, what panelling is going where. There is just the longest list of things that you've really got to get organised to give to the contractors, that he knows what's going where. As a design studio, we have a very much it's called a house style. So every interior designer you look at, when you hit that sweet spot of having been around a while, you know that it's a house 9 house, or whoever else you're following that you love. You can kind of pick up what their style is. So you're going to go to that person for their style. But I would say we are very, very led by our clients. So we are a client-centric studio, which means that when a client instructs us, one of my favourite parts of the job is climbing inside my client's head and finding out what it is that they like. So they might just say, I want a house 9 house. They say that, but then once you start getting into it, we want to extract from them what they really love. Because at the end of the day, I ain't living here. They're living there. And therefore, I want to create a home for that person that is totally personal to them. So yes, I would say that our style always comes through in every design we do and in every project that we do, but we are led by our clients, and therefore the styles sometimes can actually vary a lot. So I had a client, one of my favourite clients this day is now a friend. We did this wonderful house in Chiswick, all the arches, and came to us because she loved the style, but then actually started working with her, and the style really started to evolve. They lived in LA, they loved their time in Ibiza in the summers, and she really wanted to bring those elements of those 2 places into this house. Now those 2 elements aren't very house 9, but we made it work. So, there are varying styles depending on client tastes. And that particular client loved the colour purple. I'd never worked with the colour purple before because it was always one of those, I don't know what it is about the colour purple, it takes me back to design school, and I think I overdid it in a project and I can't look at it again. And this client got me totally like, you've got to use purple, we've got to have purple, we've got to have purple. So I was like, we'll put it in the downstairs loo. And we ended up doing a dark purple lacquered toilet, and it was mad but beautiful. Does that toilet look like a house 9? If you were to look at that in a photo, would you think that was a house 9, designed cloakroom? Perhaps not. So it's all about the fun of the project. The fun of my job is working with clients who have varying degrees of style and taste, and it's my job to extract that and then hone it and turn it into something beautiful. Number 1, find your own style. When I say find your own style, it's so easy to try and copy other people. And obviously we can seek inspiration from other people. But I go back to this again and again. We have to remember that this is our home, and therefore leading on from find your own style, number 2 is understand how you live. Not how anyone else lives, or how you think other people are going to perceive how you live. How do you live in your house? Forget about everyone else watching you. Forget about that photo that you're going to get for Instagram. Forget about all that shit. That is not important. What is important is that it's your home, and therefore the items that you choose in your home are the things they have to sing and make your heart sing. They have to talk to you, and you want to walk in through your front door after a long day at work and to just exhale, not be like, oh, if it's not perfect, everything's got to be perfect. So my number 3 is do not strive for perfection in a home, because it doesn't exist. That's my 3rd. There's a part of me as a business owner, and I'm a bit of a purist and a traditionalist. Even when it comes to lighting, I don't like modern lighting. I don't like all these touch panels. I like a simple light switch. And therefore for me, AI is something I don't want to embrace. I'll be really frank. I don't want to like it. I don't want to bring it into my business. I want to shut the door on it and not have to talk about it ever again. But I understand that I have a responsibility for my business to keep it moving forward and be as innovative as I can be for the growth of the business and for my team and for the future of whatever the world is that we're going into. So currently the answer is no, but there are certain programs that have been shown to me that I can understand the benefit of having, and those tend to be with programs like rendering. So it would be, take this wall, elevation drawing. Say if we've done a whole load of, CAD drawings, you can literally elevate that entire room and turn it into literally a living space. Should I turn my back on that when that's so easy and would save my company so much time and resource? Probably not. But I don't know, it feels like it's happened so fast, and that's what I don't like. I like to take things slow and understand things, and it just feels like it's come a bit out of nowhere. So we might do, but at the moment the answer's no. I have to knock when I go and see Ziggy because she's a tween now. Oh, hi. Hi, gorgeous. What are you up to? That's so nice, girls. I have some little roses for you that you can have. Cuddle. Change of scene. A real change of scene. It's actually quite nice. The reality of what's actually usually on my bathtub is half-naked dolls. I've tidied up. So I thought we'd change it up, and you're now in my bathroom with me. Get a little more personal in here. I honestly never thought I would leave London. I'm a London girl, pretty much born and bred. Well, my younger years were spent in the country, so up until about 11. But then I've always been in London, and I loved London. And even when we had Ziggy, I never thought I would leave. But then I think as a parent, you stop thinking about what is right, what is best for you, and you start thinking about what's best for your child. So we decided to make the move out of London, and I can honestly say it was the best move we ever made. The pros are like your kids are running around in fresh air outside in fields, and it sounds really romanticised, but it's like that. It's really true. We hardly have the TV on. The television is hardly on in this house, rain or shine as well. I think when you're in London and it's raining, you just don't go outside. Whereas when it's pissing with rain here, welly's on, we're out. We just go out anyway, and it doesn't matter. And it's just I think kids stay younger for longer in the country, and they rely on you more. As they start getting to an age where they want to go to play dates, and you have to get in the car and drive them there. They can't just walk out the front door. You know where they're going, you know who they're with, and that's lovely. And I think the longer we can keep our kids younger for longer, the better. The things I most miss about London is just being able to just pop out. You can't pop out anywhere when you live in the country. So therefore, making friends takes a while, and I honestly didn't think I would make friends when I moved out here. I thought, I've got my friends, got my best friends, don't need any more, and I genuinely thought that. And then of course I moved here, and then Ziggy was in nursery, and I suddenly just met, not planned, just met a couple of school mums that I just totally gravitated towards. And there's one particular friend, our eyes literally locked across the playground, and it was like a moment where we sort of almost ran to each other, and it was like, oh my God, you're my person. And I've now got a really good, quite a good few mum mates out here that I just adore. I adore, and actually, in a way, they become more than just friends because you rely on them. So where your best friends that live outside of, you know, in other areas, you speak to and you get that quality time with when you see them every sort of, you know, couple of months or every 6 months and you speak to them on the phone. But your local mates almost get to know you, the new you, the older you, more than you could ever imagine, and therefore they're so needed. And it will happen, it does happen, but just let it happen organically. I'd say this is by far the question that I get asked the most, is how do I cope with the juggle of being a working mum, just the juggle with kids? And my honest answer is that I don't think I really do cope. I cope like anyone else copes. I think the best advice that I can possibly give when it comes to coping and managing the juggle is accepting that you can't always control it, and you never give up juggling, and when you do, you'll probably miss the days when you did. So I think there's an acceptance, and I think as soon as you can step into an acceptance of the fact that we do juggle, you've got to laugh about it. Sometimes it's so chaotic, and you know, one of the kids gets sick and you've got a really big meeting, and you know, you're stepping over Lego pieces and you haven't eaten any breakfast, and you know, there's someone knocking at the door because you've forgotten that you've got, I don't know, a delivery, and it's all piles up, and it's chaos at times. And sometimes you want to tear your hair out, but I think you've just got to lean into it and accept it. And I think that's what I've learned to do, and forget about trying to be perfect, because perfect, you'll constantly be looking for it, you'll constantly be striving for it, and it doesn't exist. And it certainly doesn't exist when you've got kids. I so often hear this phrase, the mum guilt, and I think, Liv, there was another question about mum guilt. How do I overcome the mum guilt? I think I used to have it a bit, and now I don't. And I honestly think I've let go of that guilt and that burden that we put on ourselves as mums, because if I can't be somewhere and I can't do it all, like we can't do it all, you have to be really forgiving of yourself, and others should be forgiving of you as well. And if they're not, then they can fuck off. Honestly, like, think about that for a minute. Like, we carry so much weight in a modern world with children and running businesses and making ends meet, and we shouldn't have to apologise for our lateness and for things going wrong and not turning up on time, which I'm always late for everything. I'd be late for my own funeral. You know, I think it's really important that we just say, oh, do you know what, does it matter? Like, in the grand scheme of things, does it matter? I'm late for a meeting. They're going to be okay. Everyone's going to be okay. You know, so I think sometimes even when I'm in a car and I'm late and I'm literally doing my makeup, driving down the motorway, and I'm half an hour late for a meeting and I roar up to the front door, I almost just like put some music on and call someone. You're going to be late, so just lean into being late, you know, just fuck it. I guess maybe that's my motto in life. How do I keep the spark alive? Okay, again, guys, we're here to be honest, aren't we? We're going to be honest with each other. How do I keep the spark alive? Sometimes we don't. I sometimes come at Brad and I say, oh, we're not in love at the moment, are we? And he looks at me like, we're always in love, we're just busy and we've got small children. So, and he reminds me that I've got to just accept that we're in this particularly, you know, frictious time of work and kids and ageing parents and responsibility and bills and politics and all this shit going on. And we're like passing ships. A lot of the time we're like passing ships in the night. And again, much like the point I made before on the previous question, it's learning to be accepting of that and not put the pressure on yourself. As soon as we mount any form of pressure on ourselves, that's when things start to crumble and that's when things start to go wrong. So if you were living in a house and it was just the two of you and you didn't have children and you were then, and there wasn't a love and there wasn't that connection, then I would probably start to worry. But when you've got young children, I mean, how can you be sexy sometimes when there's like, I mean, when do we find time for sex sometimes and love and intimacy when we're just about holding it together in a day? You know, you collapse into bed at the end of a long day and the last thing you want to do is have a bit of nookie. So just a bit of acceptance over that, and then occasionally, you know, we might book a little night away together and we make up for it. But yeah, pressure off. Like, no point in that. It's, you know, we're going to be together forever, and I hope you guys all are too. Oh, it's a big old question, this one. I am now 43 years old, 44 in May, and I've definitely, since turning 40, started to see the change in my body and how it functions and how it looks. I also gave up Botox. I've had Botox once a year since I was 25, and I decided last year that I was going to stop having Botox. I did that because I'm just going to disclaimer here. What anyone does to their skin or their face or their body is completely up to them. It's up to you. You have to do what makes you happy, and in any walk of life. And for me, I felt like I got to a point where my body was aging and my face wasn't. And I wanted to see more laugh lines and expression on my face. So now my face moves. So I'd say my relationship with aging, I think, is probably the same as most women's. I don't like it. I'd be lying if I said I looked in the mirror sometimes and I wasn't like, oh no, my God, you've got some age spots, and where did that wrinkle come from? And I bend over now, like my stomach, I bend over sometimes to put my knickers on, and I've got this like sort of little weird, sort of, my skin on my stomach looks like crepe paper. It goes all like crepey. But I had two children, and you go from this feeling of like wanting that to be flat and perfect again to being like, no, you birthed two children and you're fucking lucky to be living in a body that works and it functions, and everything ages. So there's a constant battle, and I would be lying if I said that didn't exist. I invest in really good quality skincare. I wear my red light mask, but I just, probably like any other girl, have to just accept that it's coming. It's the pressures that I also think it's a huge, our society puts so much pressure on women to look a certain way and perform a certain way and dress a certain way. And I don't actually even think it's men that do it. I think it's women that do it to each other. I think it's the pressures of women, like the feeling of like a standard that we set for ourselves and for each other. Oh, she's looking good. Oh, she's been on the jabs. Oh, she had some work done. Oh, and I think there's an intrigue there, but there's also, like with women, I think there can be a strange jealousy. And I think that's such a shame. I think it's a shame that that exists in our society, but I understand it does, I think, because of magazines and newspapers and the beauty industry constantly peddling like the next best thing to make you youthful and keep you young. So I think I just do what any other girl does. I'm not a girl, sadly, I'm a woman. And just try and keep up and just try and constantly tell myself it's okay. Oh my God. The most helpful thing to help with perimenopausal symptoms? HRT. HRT. I slap this on my thighs every day, and I can't tell you. I read this thing the other day, and it was about perimenopause starts at 35. It starts around 35 and it goes to around 45. So we've got 10 years of perimenopause before menopause even starts. And luckily it's now becoming a subject that we can all talk about and a lot of us laugh about, but we also cry about. Like, it's really hard because the number one thing that starts to happen before anything else is that you don't feel like yourself anymore. You just don't feel like you, and you don't know why, and you're like, I can't put my finger on what's not feeling right. And it's not like, yeah, you might sort of start to get achy knees and achy joints, but it's like you start to get brain fog, you start to become anxious, you start to become disconnected in some way with yourself. And it's really, yeah, it's shit. It's shit. It's like being a crack addict and having your crack taken away from you. That you start to go a bit like, that's your estrogen literally depleting every day. And we have to replace it now. Luckily with this HRT, we can now do that. But it's finding for me, it's been acceptance again. I'd say yoga, meditation, HRT, mushroom, like gummies, anything like that sort of thing has been really helpful for me. Yeah, it's a tough time for us gals, but I guess we're all in it together, so that helps. I have had so many questions from you on ADHD. A lot of followers have asked about my ADHD journey, and I feel like this warrants a whole episode in itself, and I'd actually love to go and speak to some experts on the subject for myself and for you guys. So bear with me on that one. I'll put some thoughts together and I'll come back on the subject of ADHD in later life. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I know it was a little different to what we have planned and what's come previously, but I hope you enjoyed it and you didn't turn off too quickly. But if you did enjoy it and you'd like a bit more of it, then let me know and send in some more questions. And I will be back, very excitingly, with the garage cottage reveal in the next couple of weeks. And also I've got some really exciting, a couple of exciting episodes coming up, because we are with Furnishing Futures, and you'll see a whole reveal of a home that we worked on with them, and you'll get to meet Emily and the team and see the amazing work they do. So I'm really excited to share that with you. Just one more cringy thing to say, which I hate, but guys, come on, you've got to like and subscribe if you want to see more. So thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Bye.